Well, good evening, everybody. It's a great joy to be with you as we sort of kick off October Respect Life Month and this annual banquet. I was out on the old Chrism Trail last weekend doing confirmations out in the western part of the Diocese of Lincoln, in Harvard and in Indianola, Wallace, North Platte, and it was, of course, Life Chain Weekend. It was great to see these little communities out on the streets of their towns and with these signs that point to the fact that we are pro-life, that we are a pro-life state. And so that was a beautiful witness to see out in the western part of my diocese. In 1995, St. John Paul II gave the church an incredible gift when he issued the prophetic encyclical, The Gospel of Life, Evangelium Vitae. This encyclical reaffirmed the invaluable dignity of every human person at every stage in every condition of life. As a priest and as a bishop, I have received much inspiration and guidance from John Paul the Great. In fact, it was when I first heard him speak on October 4th of 1979, during his first visit to this country as the new pope, that I found my vocation to the priesthood. I had only been a Catholic for a few years, just out of college, but I said, I want to follow that man because of his words and his example. And during the 1990s, which I think was the height of his pontificate, he gave us such beautiful teaching. 1993, the Catechism of the Catholic Church was published, and I'm listening through Father Mike Spitz's Catechism in a Year. I highly recommend it. He talks really fast, so you might have to slow it down. But he's marching us through the Catechism, which is a great opportunity. But he also gave us Veritatis Splendor that year in 1993, which is a really kind of fundamental encyclical on moral theology. The splendor of truth. And then in 1995, he gave us this encyclical on the Gospel of Life, which is where we got the name for our award that we're going to give. And then in 1998, he issued Faith and Reason, Fides et Ratio. So these four, Catechism, Veritatis Splendor, the Gospel of Life, and Faith and Reason are really pillars that he left us, almost as if he knew that we needed these in 20 or 30 years. And he's absolutely right, because these all are coming into question now. Faith and reason, life, everything. But we have these fundamental teachings that never change. And they're such a great gift. So whether it was his encyclical, The Gospel of Life, or the other ones that he published during his pontificate, St. John Paul II had a great reverence for the truth, which is really the theme of our evening. In his commitment to the truth, you could find in him clarity, direction, assurance, that the church was and still is a beacon of light and hope in the midst of an ever-growing secular culture and an ever-growing indifferent culture, as Aidan was pointing out. John Paul spent his priestly life prophetically preaching the truth in a world fraught with confusion and doubt on fundamental truths about the human person and human society. But he was also a man who spoke not merely with words, but he lived that truth in action. He was committed to the dignity inherent in each and every human person, and he himself witnessed firsthand throughout his whole life of suffering under the occupation of the Nazi regime when he was growing up in Poland, all the way to the end of his life when really we were all at his bedside as he showed us how to die with dignity and with faith. And he also taught us the responsibility that we each have to protect and serve the least of our brothers and sisters, including and especially preborn children and their mothers. As it is with the lives of saints, we can follow in the footsteps of John Paul's witness and his reverence and love for the human person, and know that we are more closely united with Jesus Christ, who is our hope and our salvation. So since 2007, we have presented the Gospel of Life Award each year to Catholics, quote, for exemplary efforts to promote the gospel of life in their parish and diocese, end of quote. Over the years, this honor has gone to parish pro-life coordinators, pro-life sidewalk advocates, exemplary priests, enterprising pro-life students, people working in the media, and men and women working in public policy. Last year, for the first time, this honor went to a wonderful couple in the medical profession, Dr. Tom and Sue Hilgers. And this year, we would like to once again provide this award to medical professionals. For the past almost 10 years, I have been privileged to serve as the National Episcopal Advisor to the Catholic Medical Association, which is a national association of Catholic healthcare professionals. The Catholic Medical Association helps its members grow in faith, maintain ethical integrity, and provide excellent health care in accordance with the teachings of the Church. The work of the CMA is critical in our day and age. We are living in a time when Hippocratic medicine, which instructs physicians to do no harm, is under attack. Instead, other ethical systems, which devalue the human person, are attempting to displace an ethical system rooted in the Judeo-Christian spiritual, moral, and intellectual tradition that upholds the dignity of every human person. The Catholic Medical Association provides a safe harbor for healthcare professionals to more deeply know Jesus Christ, the divine physician, and be a living witness to his tender care and compassion in the practice of medicine. It is this kind of health care that is needed now more than ever. And it is this kind of medicine that this year's Gospel of Life honorees have demonstrated with such great commitment over their years in medicine. This year's honorees are Dr. David Hilger, Dr. Robert Bonebrake, Dr. Sean Kinney, and Dr. Elena Krause. Before we invite them to the stage and hear a few words from Tom Vinzer, the executive director of the Nebraska Catholic Conference, about why we are honoring these four physicians, I want to leave you with these words from St. John Paul II's encyclical, The Gospel of Life, that he directed almost 30 years ago to healthcare professionals. He wrote this, quote, A unique responsibility belongs to healthcare personnel, doctors, pharmacists, nurses, chaplains, men and women religious, administrators, and volunteers. Their profession calls for them to be guardians and servants of human life. In today's cultural and social context, in which science and the practice of medicine risk losing sight of their inherent ethical dimension, healthcare professionals can be strongly tempted at times to become manipulators of life or even agents of death. In the face of this temptation, their responsibility today is greatly increased. It's the healthcare profession. Its deepest inspiration and strongest support lie in the intrinsic and undeniable ethical dimension of healthcare profession, something already recognized by the ancient and still relevant Hippocratic Oath, which requires every doctor to commit himself or herself to absolute respect for human life and its sacredness. End of quote. Please join me now in warmly welcoming to the stage our 2023 Gospel of Life honorees, Dr. Elena Krause, Dr. Dave Hilger, Dr. Sean Kenny, and Dr. Bob Boombrake. Dave, great honor. It's a great honor. It's a great honor. And that's the Boombrake. Okay. Dr. Kenny, thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. And then this is Elena. Congratulations. And then Dr. Boombrake. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll do a quick, and then I think, Dave, are you going to offer some remarks? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can hold that for you.